Hello, math friends. Today we're going to be looking at more multi-step equations. This time we're looking at putting in skills together that we've done before. Remember, our goal is to get the equation down to be simpler so that we can solve it easier. Simplifying expressions, let's review this real quick. So if I see those parentheses, remember that this is the distributive property. So I'm going to do 4 times x is 4x. 4 times positive 1 is positive 4. This minus 5, I'm going to have to put that together at the end. So now I need to combine like terms. 4x doesn't have any like terms. Left to right, 4 minus 5 is going to be negative 1. Okay, so this is my simplified expression, 4x minus 1. Let's look at the next one as well. I have the distributive property here again. 7 times 2y. 7 times 2 is 14, and the y stays with that. 7 times 3, or 7 times negative 3, minus 21. And then there's a plus 4y here at the end. Because there's a plus, we don't distribute that. We're going to combine like terms at the end here. Left to right, 14y and plus 4y. Those are like terms. So I have 18y minus 21. So if we're just looking at simplifying expressions, we would end there. Our skill today, we're going to look at using this with solving equations. So let's look at a couple examples here. Remember that before we start, we want to draw a line down the equal sign. And then I want to say, what are my steps? So step 1, I'm going to say distribute. Or remember, it might even say apply distributive property. It depends where we're looking. Both essentially mean the same thing. Apply distributive property is a little more specific, but we could just also write distribute. Okay, 8 times x is 8x. So these are all skills that we know from before, but now we're putting them all together. 8 times 12 is 96. Then I have this minus 5 here. Still have an equal sign, and we have 51. All right, combine like terms would be next, right? Because on the left side there, I have that 96 and that minus 5. So now we'll write combine like terms. So when we do that, we'll go ahead and say, well, 8x is just 8x. The like terms, though, I have 96 minus 5, so that's plus 91. Equals 51. Now look at this closely. Now I have a two-step equation. Here's my x's, here's constants, and then here's a constant by itself on the other side. So the opposite of plus 91, I'm going to subtract 91 from both sides. And we'll go ahead and write that down and do that. Minus 91. Minus 91. So I have 8x over here. 51 minus 91. Positive and negative together. Remember when we do this, we think of like 91 minus 51 in our mind, and that's 40. And then I think to myself, which one was larger? Well, the negative one was larger, so it's going to be a minus 40. And by larger, we think of further from 0, which is the absolute value. Which one has the larger absolute value? Now divide by 8, right? Because it's an 8x there. So we'll write down our step, divide by 8 on both sides. So remember, we use a fraction, divide by 8, divide by 8. Then we have x equals negative divided by positive. We get a negative answer, so that's negative 5. Remember, we can go back and check too. The original expression on the left side here has our variable in the parentheses, so I can rewrite that as 8 parentheses negative 5 will go in place of x plus 12. And then I have minus 5. Okay, negative 5 plus 12 we're going to have 7. This 8 stays on the front, and then I have this minus 5 here. Remember that a number next to a number in parentheses means to multiply, so that's 56 minus 5. Simplify that, 56 minus 5, you get 51. And that makes the equation true because on the left side you'll have 51 and on the right side you'll have 51. That means that we did that right. One more example here. Same idea. Even if the variable is not x, you still do the skill the same way. So we're going to look at what step do I take. I'm going to distribute first. Or we might say apply the distributive property. So 2 times 3 is going to be 6m. 2 times negative 2, we're going to have a negative 4. And then we have this plus 6 equals 14. All right, next step. I see a negative 4 and a 6 on the same side over there without variables. So I'm thinking of combined like terms. When I do that carefully, I'm going to say negative 4 plus 6 is going to be 2. So 6m plus 2 is 14. Okay, now I have a two-step equation. I have a variable, a constant, and then I just have a constant on the other side. So I'm going to say do the inverse operation, so subtract 2 from both sides. So we're going to say minus 2, minus 2. So I'm going to have 6m here, and on the right side I'm going to have 12. And then 6m, let's think about that. I would divide by 6. And we're going to say divide by 6 on both sides. So then we get m equals 2. And that's our solution. Let's go ahead and check that. So look on the left side where we have m, we're going to substitute 2. So I have 2 parentheses 3 times 2 instead of m, and then I have a minus 2. Inside the parentheses we do first. 3 times 2 is 6. I still have a minus 2. And I have this plus 6 on the end. Remember to write that. So then I have 6 minus 2 is going to be 4. Then I have a plus 6. Let's finish this up right here. 2 times 4 is 8. And then I still have the plus 6. 8 plus 6 is 14. This makes the equation true now because on the left side we have 14 and on the right side we have 14.